Okay, now it is possible to multiply two matrices by each other, but you have to be careful, and that's why they're saying that it depends on the shape of the matrix. So here's how this works. When we multiply two matrices together, we actually multiply the rows of the first one, and since they listed A first, that's our first one. It just happened to be in the right order, by the columns of the second, but in a particular order. Now, this is a 2 by 2 matrix, and this is a 2 by 2 matrix. And remember, this is columns and this is rows. So my answer matrix is going to have the same number of rows in the first and the same number of columns in the second. Now here it's not all that interesting because my answer matrix, and this always happens with square matrices, my answer matrix is the exact same size. But let's just note that answer is, now notice that these are also backwards, which again, because they're the same numbers, not that important, but we'll get to where it will matter. And by the way, I always have to write the dimensions under them to do this analysis. Some people can remember this stuff, but since R and C switch, okay. So now I'm going to show you how to do the multiplication. I'm going to have a really big work matrix here because I am doing things in a particular way. So let me see how I can show this on the smartboard. In order to find the first row, the number that goes in the first row, first column of my answer matrix, I'm going to multiply the first row by the first column. And I'm going to do two multiplications with addition in the middle. There's always addition in the middle. So my multiplication for first row, first column is going to be 5 times 6. So I'm picking the first two numbers out of the row and column. I'm multiplying them together. And then I go to the next two numbers, -3 times -8. I find it really helpful to put the arrows, the direction next to the matrix to help me remember to do this. I have a really hard time without it. Okay, so now we're going to go to the first row, second column. So I'm going to continue to use the numbers in the first row, but now I'm going to move and use the numbers in the second column. So, and I'm keeping this in mind because first row, second column is going to be where my answer goes as well. So 5 times 7 plus -3 times 4. All right, moving over to the second row. Same idea. I'm going to use the second row, first column, to give me the number that goes in the second row, first column of my answer matrix. And last, second row, second column. Second row, second column. And when I'm doing these by hand, I actually put my fingers on it. You can help yourself any way possible. So 2 times 7 plus -1 times 4. Okay, now I'm just going to do the math and write my answer matrix. Not sure why I switched to green pen. Okay, so first row, first column, I get 5 times 6, 30, plus 24, looks like 54. Moving over to this first row, second column, I get 5 times 7 is 35, minus 12, sounds like 23. And now I'm on the second row, 2 times 6 is 12, plus 8, and 2 times 7 is 14, minus 4. So we've multiplied a matrix. Let's work on this one because this one doesn't look like we can multiply them. They're not even the same direction. But we've got, we list them by column and then rows. So we've got one column by 3 rows. And here we have three columns by one row. Now, that means, believe it or not, my answer matrix is going to be a 3 by 3 matrix. So how do we do this? It's actually pretty straightforward because we're not multiplying a whole bunch of numbers. Remember, we go by row on the first matrix and then column on the second. So if I go first row by first column, that's going to give me 2 times -4, which is -8. Now I'm still in the first row, moving over to the second column. That's 2 times 7, which is 14. First row, let me circle that. Third column is -2. Okay, moving to the second row. Okay, well, I am multiplying all 3 of those numbers by 0. All right, so my second row is going to be 0. My third row is -3 times -4, -3 times 7, and -3 times -1. Okay, that's enough for this video. See you on the next one.